Hello. Welcome to Talking Shit with a Yank and a Brit. I'm Kate.
And I'm Gemma. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again on our wonderful Talking Shit podcast where we touch on various subjects such as... What have we talked about?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Everything and anything.
Pens.
Pens.
I was looking at pens, and then we also have talked about pens. We've talked about dating. We've talked about gun control in America, which is... We didn't solve that one because that's still a problem.
No, I think there is a solution to it. As we, if you listen to that episode, you'll find our opinions and everything that we think.
Yeah, I take that back. We did solve it. It's not our fault no one listened to us.
Yeah, actually.
I think we also talked about fashion, the 90s.
Oh, yeah, throwbacks.
Yep, and we've done games, music. We always decide whether someone's an asshole or not. And, occasionally you will hear my cat or you might hear Gemma's dog.
I've also... Someone spoke to me about our 90s episode and was like, I can't believe you didn't bring up lava lamps.
Oh,
and I thought that was a very good point.
Yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah, and a few weeks ago I saw a thing about lava lamps. I was like, oh my God, I love a lava lamp.
Another thing that we didn't talk about that just occurred to me that you and I have off air talked about are what we call cootie catchers and what you guys call fortune tellers, right? Like the little boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. So the little like origami triangular things that predict your future with incredible accuracy.
Yep. Yep. Those were big. I don't know why we didn't discuss those because I feel like we probably did those in the 90s at that age. And then, maybe digest why we call them cootie catchers here.
Yeah. Why? I don't understand that.
I don't have the answer for you, but I bet one of our listeners at home does.
If you let us know, then
Please
email us or get in touch on social medias. I'm abbreviating everything now these days. That's how I roll. Don't spit your coffee out.
That's going to end up so poorly, but yes, I want you to try that.
Also, did you do the MASH thing? Where
yes.
you did like mansion, attic, shed, house?
Apartment.
Oh, yeah, apartment.
Mansion, apartment, shack.
We had shed. And
Same
again,
thing, right?
I think I was going to live in a shed with Justin Timberlake, I think with 7 children. What was the other option?
Jobs?
I can't remember the job one.
I mean,
but I think I kept doing it until I got Justin Timberlake. So
I was just going to say, who cares if you live in a shed? You live in a shed with Justin Timberlake and your 7 kids, all named JT.
Yeah. JT Jr., JT Jr.
Nice.
We've also got a little correction. We're going to call this one Nigel's Notes. Last week we spoke about, we just, casually mentioned that Kate is now Finnish because we're going to move to Finland because it's happy there and there don't seem to be many troubles that modern people have to worry about. And we referred to it as Flemish, which apparently is a Dutch dialect. So,
yes, Nigel notes. I appreciate the correction. It was pointed out by a few other people as well. We apologized. I think we caveated last episode with how tired we are and how limited our brain functioning is. So, thank you for approaching it with kindness instead of ridicule and shame.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We're just doing our best, people. That's all we can do.
I unfortunately am still in probably that same headspace, so forgive me.
Well, just come along for the ride, Kathy. I'll take you on a
I've got
journey of wonder and interest. All you need to do is react.
Okay. I've got my
Okay.
coffee here from Kitty Town Coffee.
Ooh.
Gonna do a little plug for no reason because they're not our sponsor. But they
Did you make
every
it
time
with a Genblep? A
I
Genblep?
did. Oh my god. Yep, a Gendblet, and then I poured it into the blend jet to finish it up.
Yeah. Good
But
thinking.
it's really good, and they donate money to homeless cats if you buy from them.
Oh,
So it's kind of nice.
yeah, that's nice. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I'll get my coffee from there when I come over.
Yeah, I'll bring you some. It's fine. There's the Tia blend and the Albert blend, which is what I'm drinking today. There's also like a Rafiki. Okay, I'll stop now.
Okay, if you do want to sponsor us, then just get in touch at talkshittous@gmail.com. Thanks. Right, this week I thought we could talk about conspiracy theories.
I love it. Is this going to be the episode though where I find out that you believe some conspiracy theories and you find out and then we actually
Fall out.
now can't be friends anymore?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean that the moon landing didn't happen, Gemma?
The Earth is flat. Okay, Kate.
Oh,
That's
no,
what
I
I'm
agree
telling
with
you.
you. I agree.
Okay,
I'm
good.
with you there.
Fine.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. Tell me what you got. I got to hear these.
Well, I do. Although I don't believe them necessarily, I do find them really interesting, and I love going down a conspiracy rabbit hole.
Me too.
I get really into it.
It's kind of akin to true crime kind of obsession a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're
It's
right.
just like, I got to hear this madness and talk
Yeah.
about why it's plausible or not really and why people would believe such a thing, or maybe I can understand it, you know.
That's it. So there's obviously a lot out there. The most not modern, but most recent one, I guess, is it the QAnon
Yeah. Ugh.
that you,
Yeah.
some of you Americans seem to.
Starting off with like the worst one. Yep. Okay. Let's talk about it. QAnon. So it's like, interestingly, QAnon is like a collective, but also I think a conspiracy in and of itself. I don't know. It's just like this
Right.
really big dumb thing.
So is it just about COVID, QAnon, or is it about loads of shit? I'm not really sure because I started getting
Yeah.
annoyed when I was reading about it.
I don't blame you. Okay. So QAnon is a decentralized, far right political movement rooted in a baseless conspiracy theory that the world is controlled by the deep state, a cabal of Satan worshipping pedophiles, and that former President Donald Trump is the only person who can defeat it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I read that
So
off the
it's
internet. I didn't just pull that out of my ass. So,
so it's basically a Donald Trump fan club, really.
Yeah, and it started in 2017, which is why it's not just COVID based, but like
Right.
COVID, I think gave it a lot of fire or fuel.
Yeah.
So,
Did Donald
uh,
Trump start it?
I mean, he's actually Q. I'm sure he is. No, I don't think he did, but he fucking loves it. He loves anything that makes him seem like
Mhm.
a really cool guy.
Yeah, that's batshit.
So, did you know that it kind of started on 4chan, and it's with this person or persons called Q, who would post these
No.
predictions, theories, and it would be, for example, just like, wait until this day because Trump's going to do a thing and he's going to send a message. And then, like, it would be something like, how a psychic can say, you're going to be really hungry in 2 days, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I was really hungry. Um, it's like really vague stuff that can be very easily kind of like, oh, look, there it is. Like, he
Yeah.
smiled at the camera during one of his speeches, and they're like, that's the sign. See, Q was right.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's where Pizzagate came from, which was Yes, it is. Okay. I think it was Hillary Clinton, the Clintons, and a bunch of like celebrities, left-wing liberal people
I got
who
really
do you know what
fucking
I'm talking
lost
about?
in in a fucking long rabbit hole, and it was also connected to Justin Bieber's song, the Yummy
Baby?
one.
Oh my
No.
god. I didn't know that, tell me.
So this is how I fell down the hole. Was so he released that song, Yummy, and then he released the video to it, and the video is of him like sort of playing a younger version of himself and going to like these celebrity parties where there's important people, and it seems as though in the video he is implying that he was potentially sort of passed around as
Oh,
a
god.
like
Like,
yeah,
exploited and maybe a
yeah,
little bit of abuse, okay.
yeah. And so I went down this rabbit hole, and then yeah, it started going into the whole Pizzagate thing and how they kill children and drink their blood, and it was wild,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, that's crazy, I didn't know that, and the fact that the video actually implies that actually kinda just makes me feel a little sad for
Yeah, it made me
Justin
feel
Bieber
really
because that
sad for
probably
him.
did happen. We know people in positions
Mm,
of power abuse vulnerable people and kid stars in particular.
exactly.
So
And there's
but
loads of little
the fact
things in the video, like there's like an image on a plate, and if you look into it, it's mad, like that people are connecting every single thing in the video to like other stuff, and yeah, it's crazy shit.
makes me wonder if Bieber is maybe of the QAnon fan club.
Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me. He's probably quite traumatized from being a child star.
So, and that's like one of their big things is like they are all save the children, left wing celebrities, people in power love sex trafficking kids, that sort of thing. In that movie, did you guys get it over there? It's called like, it's very new and it's about like sex trafficking.
I don't
Do
know.
you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Hold on. It's super new and okay, Sound of Freedom. And it's about like
Right.
a real life person who maybe like in the FBI or something who like helped like save some kids and take down a sex trafficking ring. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
want to see it because it's actually funded by
Oh,
people
really?
who love Trump and QAnon and it's a bunch of
Mm.
it's like a propaganda too and I'm just like I refuse. But here's the thing, is it's like it's really hard to argue with people who are like sex trafficking kids are bad because yes it is.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
We don't want that. No one's saying that.
No. It's just
But
some
when
of
you
the other
talk about
wild shit.
yes, because
Mm.
there was this website, there's a website called Wayfair. There's this whole thing about how they're sex trafficking kids, and you would go look at like a product, and it's got like a cabinet that's called Jewels, and it's worth you have to pay like 4 grand for it, and it's because you buy it and there's like a kid in it.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
God.
It's ridiculous. I
Yeah.
think that's probably enough on QAnon, other than one
Yes.
thing that there's
Mm.
been like news article or news reports about family members who've been like, I feel like I've like my daughter, my mother is dead because they are like so far deep into this like QAnon conspiracy that I don't have a relationship with them anymore. And like
Really?
even there's I think
Wow.
Anderson Cooper was like there's it's a traumatic experience to lose a family member to QAnon.
Yeah, it's like they've joined a cult, really.
Yeah, very much. I don't mean to laugh. It's just
Fuck.
it's so ridiculous that I can't help but laugh
Mm,
because yes, it is like a cult.
I guess a lot of it's also fueled by like Fox News and all this
Mhm.
fake news that comes out. Like there was
Mhm.
a recent study, I can't remember who did it, but they spoke to a load of people, and basically they said that if it's said on these particular news channels, they believe it without question.
Yeah.
And a similar thing is happening with our younger generation. So anything they read on Facebook or Instagram,
Mhm.
TikTok, they believe. They don't fact check anything. People aren't questioning whether it's true anymore. They just take it for face value, which is really fucking dangerous.
This is a message to all of the youth out there who do that.
And the elder generation.
Well, I was Do you really want to be lumped in
No.
with the boomers and the elder generation? Because if I recall correctly, anytime there is a similarity or an interest shared by those groups, we immediately move on to the next thing. Oh, parents and grandparents are using Facebook. We're going to like Instagram now.
Yeah. Oh, they're using Instagram. We're going to TikTok.
Yep. So it's just a really bad idea, first and foremost, to not fact check and to basically engage in confirmation bias, which is seeking out information that confirms your already
Mm-hmm.
well ingrained beliefs and not hearing other counter narratives and being open to it. Um, and also, you just seem really dumb. So don't do that. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Just sounds
Stop it.
stupid. Go in with a curious mind. Don't accept everything at face value and do your own research. Come to your own conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The more you
PSA.
know.
Okay, so on to some more fun ones then. Mermaids. I didn't realise this was a thing until today. But apparently,
What do you
there's a
mean?
lot of
I don't know what you
people.
mean.
Well, there's loads
Uh-huh.
of people that think that mermaids are real.
Gemma, they
What?
are real. I
Are
don't
they?
I don't know what you're talking about. People think they're not real? Is that what you mean?
Have you seen The
There's
Little
people out there
Mermaid?
who think Have you seen the Netflix series Mermaids? They're real.
They are real.
Okay.
Well, okay, so this is a conspiracy theory that's actually been going on for thousands of years.
Okay.
So the idea that mermaids swam through the vast oceans has been alive and well for thousands of years. In fact, the conspiracy theory that mermaids are real and world governments know about them but are keeping their existence a secret still persists today. Always goes back to the government, doesn't it?
UFOs of the sea.
Yeah. So in 2012, the Discovery Channel released a mockumentary called Mermaids: The Body Found that set off like a social media frenzy.
Is that the one where they had like a skeleton? It was fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Everyone
there
thought it
was
was
like,
real though.
yeah, people were confused about how real it was and people went mental, but actually it was all just fake and it was a mockumentary. And again, question what you watch, guys. Come on.
I wonder if the makers of that mockumentary were like, we should have maybe put a disclaimer at the top. Because we thought it was clear. We thought it was clear. It wasn't.
Is that what makes some of those things so good? I can't remember what I watched a while ago. It was some
Kunk on
film.
Earth.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
She's so good. It was I think it was like a scary movie or something. And at the beginning of it, they say this is based on a true story. And it was like
Mm-hmm.
really fucking scary. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that's true. And
Huh.
then I Googled it afterwards and they were like, no, it's not actually true. They just put that in to make it more scary. And, I was like, okay,
It
cool.
worked. Yeah. So, well, and I think the thing about mermaids is interesting because it really does come from, I think, the lore of ancient times and sirens and stuff like that and
Yeah.
sailors. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
really, that just, I think, carried through, just like, you know, like I said, UFOs and Loch Ness Monster and all of that. Like, people see shit. Really, sir, that's just actually a walrus on a rock. But yeah,
Yeah.
mermaid, whatever. Let's go with that. It's funner
That's
that
it.
way.
Yeah, I like it. But with UFOs, the US government have been releasing a lot of recent
Yeah.
stuff on, what do they call them now? UAPs. Don't know why they need to
Whoops.
change the name, but whatever.
Uh,
And that, to be
yeah.
honest, my little conspiracy mind does think, what are they trying to hide? Why are they coming out now and releasing all this stuff about UFOs when they've denied and denied and denied and denied it for decades? What are they doing behind the surface?
I actually think that's a really maybe less conspiracy theory, but it's good to wonder if this is, excuse me, if this is something meant to
Distract.
detract from some other news, right? Because I
Hmm.
think we've seen something will happen and then it's like, oh, well, they're able to kind of like do this thing in Congress and no one's talking about it. But then I'm also like, well, we can talk about it though. Like you just said it. Now I want to talk about it. But I think that's a good question. Okay, so UAP stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. That is actually
Hmm.
like a really complicated phrase to
I
say.
know. What was wrong with
Anomalous
UFO?
phenomena. There
Anomalous
was nothing wrong with
phenomenon.
nothing.
Phenomenon. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, it's a catch-all term to describe objects detected in the air, sea, and space. They just wanted to make one term for all of the areas that we don't know anything
Right.
about. Yeah.
Okay.
So a
Fair enough.
mermaid would be a UAP too.
Hmm. To be fair, I'm not saying that we have had UFOs here, UAPs, but I do believe aliens exist because I think it's mental to think how vast this universe is. I think one arrogant thing to think that we are the only intelligent life
Hmm.
form within that. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
agree with you.
crazy. But I'm also
It-
like, why are they coming here?
or if like why haven't they come and been more like explicit? Like, hey,
Yeah.
because I think we would do that, honestly, if we were
Mm. But
finding
then would you?
places
Because it
with
would be terrifying. Like if you went to a world full of like 8 billion other creatures to land and be like, hey, would
well, we've
be.
kind of done that. I mean, we've risked it by going to the
True.
moon and like sending I mean, I think we would have to scope it out first, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. They're coming here, scoping us out. Who knows?
But how long do they need? It's we're only getting dumber.
True.
It's not like we're getting more advanced and dangerous. We're just getting dumber and dangerous.
Have you seen the Bob Lazar documentary?
No.
Oh,
What
you
is that?
should watch that. So Bob Lazar is a so he's a I think he's an engineer, and in the late 80s he claims that he worked at Area 51 and was hired to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology.
Oh, okay.
And he at the time spoke out about it and spoke about all these things and showed people drawings of stuff like that, and no one fucking believed him, just thought he was a nut.
Yeah.
um, and there's some claims that he made back then which have since been proven to be true,
Hmm.
so now his claims are sort of being taken as more credible. And there's a
Okay.
Netflix documentary on it, and honestly watch it, it's fascinating. And there's like crazy shit because he starts obviously making the documentary, but he's convinced that he's like being surveyed, and then lo and behold, like the next day the FBI come in and like raid his property, or the CIA or something like that. And then that makes you think, okay, why, if what he's saying is bollocks and he's just a crazy conspiracy theorist, why are they raiding his home?
Well, I'll tell you because he was arrested for aiding and abetting a prostitution ring, and
Oh.
he was ultimately charged with felony pandering, and he and his wife were charged with violating the Federal Hazardous Substance Act by shipping I mean, those could be reasons why.
Oh yeah, that might do it.
Not that that means his other stuff, but you know, that could be a reason.
Yeah, that might. I mean, that I think the documentary was made quite recently, and those charges were in 2006. But maybe, yeah. But yeah, watch it. It was really interesting, and by the end, you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. I think whether or not we get to this today, but as we're talking off air, I think, you know, just as there's always like a really convenient excuse about things like, oh, they're doing this to me, big media, big pharma wants to make me look bad. It could very easily be, the same as you're you're just a crazy person. Here's some here's some charges too, though, to make you even look further not
Yeah.
credible because I'm our governments are fucked up. They do shady shit. I know
Mm-hmm.
this. Like we know this is true.
Yep.
So, I mean, I can't remember like after World War II, I think it was Operation Paperclip where the US government basically was like it'd be a shame for all these really smart high up in the Nazi regime people to just like put them in jail. They're so smart. We should have them come over here and make shit
Mm-hmm.
for us and we'll just give them new identities. That's
Mm-hmm.
fucked up.
Yep.
Those people We're war
War
criminals,
criminals. Yeah.
evil, and you're like, "Oh, but you did the thing. You did the
You're
really
so
smart thing that we want."
clever.
Yeah. So I know that there's things like that happen, but
Hmm.
I also just, I guess I take everything with a grain of salt too. So
Yeah, that's it. It's weighing the crazy up, I guess, isn't it?
yeah. How cool is the name Laser though? I just want to say.
I think it's Lazar.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Bummer.
So you've heard of the Illuminati, right?
Illuminati.
Oh, you
Mm,
haven't? Oh, this is
no,
exciting.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Oh,
I actually really loved the
great
Dan Brown
acting.
books. Thanks.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, the Illuminati is basically the conspiracy theory that the world is run by like a secret power called the Illuminati,
Uh-huh.
and they've got like a little triangular symbol with an eye in as their symbol, and then it just goes wilder and wilder, and they think that like certain celebrities are involved, like they think Beyonce's in the Illuminati and that's why she's so
She's also in
successful. And
Pizzagate, so or she's
true.
busy lady.
So this one is that Denver Airport is a hub for the Illuminati.
Have you been there? Because I've been
No.
there. Tell me, I'll tell you if you have some examples. I'll tell you if I've seen it, what they're talking about.
Okay, so they believe that Denver Airport is a hub for the Illuminati and the New World Order, and it also acts as a gateway to hell. Who knew?
Yeah. Oh, I've totally been to hell from there.
Yeah,
They have
duh.
great fries. Great fries there.
So they think it's a hub for the lizard people who run the government and much of the world. Some believe that DIA is the home base of the Illuminati, while others believe it's actually a portal to hell, with Lucifer, which is the giant blue horse sculpture which killed the artist who made it with demonic glowing red eyes, guarding the gateway. So that's how you get
So
in, if you're
there is a
wondering.
horse. It is huge. It did kill its creator, and it does have glowing eyes. It's actually very weird statue, but
Mm.
whatever.
So apparently there are also weird murals on the wall depicting Nazi imagery and a commemoratorium capstone plaque that mentions the New World Airport Commission, an organisation that does not exist. Between that, the gargoyles in the Jefferson terminal
Terminal.
rather, and the interactive gargoyle that welcomes travellers to the Illuminati headquarters before correcting himself and welcoming the masses to Denver International Airport, something weird seems to be going on here. DIA is either poking fun at all the conspiracy theories surrounding the facility, or they're hiding something in plain sight.
Okay. So it's definitely the
True.
first. And I've always wanted to like go find that gargoyle because it's just a staff person who occasionally like it's
Really?
a robot, like, kind of some of those kiddie places that have
Yeah.
the animatronic things and there's someone
Hmm.
just speaking in a microphone somewhere. That's what it is. But of course he was gonna poke fun at all these theories. Why wouldn't you? I
Yeah.
would.
Fuck it. Bring some tourists.
Yeah, no kidding. Um, I haven't spent enough time to like walk around and look at all of the like different symbols that people point to, but I've known about that and some of like the people talk about kind of like, oh, and this, at the Denver airport, this weird shit happens. And it's like, okay. Yeah, probably some weird shit happened at the Denver airport, but I bet it also happens all over the place.
Hmm. They're playing on it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bigfoot, Sasquatch?
you know, I don't know if I really have any,
What, you
but
don't lay in
people
bed and think about him? And how big his
well,
feet are?
and how he's probably just really misunderstood.
Yeah. Poor
Um,
guy. He's been on his own for fucking years out there, freezing his ass off.
yeah, and he's just big and hairy. Like,
Yeah.
come on, everyone.
Leave him alone.
I think it's interesting that different cultures have different versions of it, like
Mm.
Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. I'm sure there's other ones too. And I think, people talk about these sightings and sure, you probably did see something. Was it just a big ass bear? Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe
or
not. I don't know.
someone
What
in
are
a
your
suit.
thoughts? Yeah, right.
I think it's possible that there is a big old animal out there,
Yeah.
but I just think with like all the technology we have and the amount of people that go out there hunting and whatnot, like no one's ever managed to get a decent picture of it. It's always
Mm-mm.
blurry and like
Hmm.
fucking
And like
miles away.
just as he's walking behind a tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, every time.
Like it just seems a bit, come on. We've got good cameras now, guys. Same with the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Like I like the idea of having like a big dinosaur in that one and only loch
Yeah.
of all the
Me
lochs
too.
in Scotland.
Yep.
But again, no one can get a decent picture of it. They've even done like proper
Deep sea or
research
deep
and
dive. Yeah.
deep dive investigations. They haven't found anything. Although I think recently there's been more activity and they've, I don't know, got a new picture. There's a picture of some large creature from a satellite photo or drone or something.
I like the idea too, particularly if it's just this like gentle dinosaur. But it's
Yeah,
like this lake can't be that deep. It's not the
no,
ocean, right? It
exactly.
unless there's like a cavern somewhere that it just goes into. Oh, they're coming. I'm gonna go hide.
Well,
Like,
theories are that because they've mapped the underwater area now, and they think there are channels to the sea. So they think
okay,
it might just be like some sort of whale or
a big ass whale or some
dolphin or something
unknown
that
sea
comes in
creature.
occasionally. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
I just I just saw a picture of it's obviously fake, but it's Loch Ness Monster sighted and it's just like this big ass thing and it's like just smiling
Smiling.
at the camera. And it makes me wonder if people saw this again, like we're talking about earlier, where people are like, "Oh my god, it's real." I mean, to be fair, this is on National Geographic. I suppose they probably need to be like, "This is not real." By the way,
FYI, disclaimer.
it's for some sort of educational thing for grades 5 through 8. So I think it's just probably a creative writing prompt for kids. But the picture is so stupid. Jungle walruses is a quote in here
Oh,
as like maybe
a possible.
an explanation, but they talk about other cryptids such as chupacabra, you know,
Yeah.
another kind of mythical creature. Um, and a part of me is like, they've also become kind of a like a like a fable, or there's like a moral to it, like, Santa Claus says you need to be good in order to get presents, kind of like that, right? You
Yeah.
know, like don't go outside at night and, drink and do bad things because Bigfoot will get ya.
Yep. The boogeyman's coming.
Right, right.
So this is another one, which, to be honest, I think could be true. That we're living in a matrix, and this is all a not hallucination. What do you call it? A hologram.
Virtual, yeah, simulation. We're all just like hooked up to something in a coma.
Yeah. Or I don't
Or
think literally, but a lot of very clever people have come out and said there's a very high probability that we are living in some sort of matrix or AI created world.
Mhm.
Um, which I guess makes it feel more credible. They might be fucking with us. Who knows? But looking for the answers of why are we here? Where do we come from?
Yeah.
That seems like a credible or a more what's the word?
Plausible?
Plausible explanation, basically.
Well, let's walk down that path for a second, shall we? I think one could even kind of say, well, sure, because if we're looking at it from a purely religious perspective, you could say that, if we were created by God and like kind of everything's based on his will, his design and stuff, that could arguably be said like we're all kind of in this kind of
Simulation.
virtual, yeah, simulation of God, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's like a not a test, but just like a you know a simulation that is designed for there to be good things, bad things. People always talk about like why would God do this if that was real? Well, turns out maybe God's not just like this really kind of benevolent being. It's literally like we're here to kind of experience the up and downs of life, and either we do it right or we do it wrong, and then there's heaven or hell. It's all a
He's just
simulation.
playing a huge fucking game of The Sims.
Yeah, I
And
mean
we're his little
that.
creations.
I think that's people could get really upset about kind of boiling it down to that, but I think in essence that could be one theory. The second thing I would point out though is if we are in some sort of matrix and we're not supposed to know that, then it seems unlikely to me that people would be able to somehow figure it out, like the glitch in the matrix, right? Like if that happened, whoever's controlling the simulation would fix it, be able to erase our memory, take out people who figured it out in some way so that they're not walking around talking about it. But I guess then the other question would be like, well, no one is really like believing it and like changing their behavior to address it. So maybe it's not a huge risk, right? It all goes back to like if there's a being or something behind it controlling it, would they allow that to happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also read that there's conspiracy theorists that believe that we're like an experiment of aliens. And so that's why they come and visit us, because they put this little world
Checking in on their
together. They're
little
checking in
project.
to see how we are, seeing if we
Oh, they're
destroyed each
still
other with
dumb.
nuclear
Yeah,
energy yet.
still dumb. Yep. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they have the tech that we placed out there for them to find, but they're using it for really dumb shit.
Yeah,
They
that's
created
not what
TikTok.
we
That
gave it
was
to them for.
no, God, they're so dumb. That I honestly can I can roll with that one because it's kind of amusing. But yeah.
Yeah. But there are some conspiracy theories that turned out to be true, Catherine. So there was one, which we probably haven't heard of, called the Dead Baby Project.
Oh God. No, I don't think I have, but it sounds horrible.
So the conspiracy was, it was after in the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Okay. Yeah.
The US government commenced a major study to measure the effects of the nuclear fallout on the human body. So the conspiracy was that the government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out, was kind of true. The
Yeah.
government was stealing parts of dead bodies because they needed young tissue. And they recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children and then take samples and even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of the
From the family.
1,500 grieving families.
Gross.
Yeah, so that's pretty fucked. Well done,
Yeah.
government.
Well, and we know about the project, the Tuskegee. Sorry, my brain, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but basically the U.S. government gave a bunch of Black people a vaccine that had syphilis in it just to like test the effects.
Really?
Because because our government hates,
Wow.
Black and brown people. And that it eventually came out that they did that, and basically told them they're giving them a vaccine and really infected them, and then just kind of studied the effects of it without, so fucked up. And, now I don't blame people for not trusting the vaccine. I blame people who have no reason to not trust the vaccine, aka white people. You can't co-opt their trauma, so stop. But I totally get why there's this distrust of, that sort of thing over here, because our government actually fucking did shit to people with it. So,
and again, this is another one. So the government mind control conspiracy theories that the CIA was testing LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs on Americans in a top secret experiment on behavior modification. And that turned out to be true. It was known as MK Ultra.
Oh yeah.
Where they started using volunteers to test LSD and hallucinogenics. But they soon started
people volunteer to do anything. Just say, we want to do this. Who's up
That's
for
it? Yeah.
People be like, yeah, I'll do some drugs. Cool.
But the thing is they started dosing people without their knowledge as well to test it, and then that ended up in a load of people becoming mentally disabled because
Mm-hmm.
they took too much LSD, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Dead babies, syphilis, LSD.
These are all very government related, actually. Maybe
Yeah.
some people have a point.
I'm saying I get it in some ways. In other ways, I don't. But I think
Yeah.
with all of those, like there was evidence. Some things there's like no evidence. It's all like, oh, see the image on the plate. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
But I've come up with this crazy theory, and now I'm going to tell everyone about it. They're all going to believe it, and then we're going to run
Yep.
wild with it.
Yep.
Okay, so another one was that John Lennon was under government surveillance. So at the time,
It was because of his anti-war sentiment, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, his anti-war songs didn't exactly endear former Beatle John Lennon to the Nixon administration.
Well,
And
fuck Nixon, to be honest.
in 1971, the FBI put Lennon under surveillance, and the Immigration and Naturalization Service tried to deport him a year later.
Well,
Go back to England.
that's anytime like there was the Red Scare when everyone was like, "You're a commie," and the government tracked people that they thought were, anti-American commies who were, and celebrities got impacted. Like, I think a lot of governments do that. If we
Yeah.
were in England saying we're being really vocal about stuff and they were considered us a threat, then we'd probably be like on a watch list too. And it's
Yeah.
just some of it. It's like, well, I mean, John Lennon was a singer and vocal about being anti-war, and I guess they justified it by thinking he has a large fan base that he could influence. I don't know, but it was
Mm.
also fucking John Lennon. Like, what's he gonna do? People recognize him everywhere. He's not gonna get away with planting a
That's
bomb
it, yeah.
somewhere.
The same thing happened with, like Woodstock and the whole free love movement and the drug movement in the 60s. That's when they banned LSD, mushrooms,
Hmm.
any hallucinogenic drug that actually opens your mind to feeling more connected with other people. They decided to ban it. It's like,
And then they're like, oh, it turns out it actually makes people, they think
happy.
they have really good ideas, but then when they come out of it, it's like, oh, that was actually really
Not
this
good.
art I painted that I thought was beautiful is actually really bad.
But they were doing studies into it at the time, which were finding really interesting findings, which have now recently been taken back up because the laws have been relaxed and they actually
Hmm.
want to know what's happening. And it's looking like, LSD, MDMA, psilocybin can have dramatic effects on depression. It's looking like it's working better than antidepressants, and it
Hmm.
actually resets something in your brain. So people that have been suffering from severe anxiety,
Hmm.
depression, severe mental illnesses for decades, turns out all you need to do is take a few fucking mushrooms and you're all good.
Well, yes, I think we're talking about the really chronic cases, right? That aren't,
Mm-hmm.
situational in nature, don't respond to therapy or regular medication. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, ketamine therapy is a thing that's
Yeah.
been pretty used pretty frequently now. And you have to wonder about it. And same when people talk about like the use of marijuana and helping with, depression and anxiety too. You have to wonder though, because maybe it's more natural, maybe it's because of some of the psychotropic effects they have. And I think the other key is like microdosing too,
Yeah.
because I was just reading a Reddit article about a guy who took 200 hits of acid because he thought he was getting pulled over.
Ooh.
And his friend was like, he was never the same again
Oh,
after
I can
that.
imagine.
In,
Yeah.
in a
Fucking
way
hell.
that like he's okay, but he's weird. So
He's on another dimension, motherfucking
yeah.
hell.
Yeah, but
Wow.
it's just too bad that people don't want to consider those things, because it
Mm.
can be helpful to people who really the normal treatments don't work, just like with cancer and pain relief.
Yep.
Yeah.
And PTSD, things like that. There's a really great BBC documentary because they're doing loads of studies in London now and have been for a few years, and they follow some of those studies where they go into the hospital and they are dosed with whatever they're taking, and they're sat in a really calming environment and they're with a therapist, so it's not just like they give you the drug and off you
Yeah,
pop.
have fun, kid.
Like, it's a
We
treatment,
set
do you
up
know
a
what I
rave
mean?
in the basement if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, and they spoke to the people afterwards. It was really interesting. Some people weren't affected by it at all, and just
Yeah.
were like, I
That's
don't
why it's
feel any different.
researching it.
Um,
But I had a great trip though.
yeah, I had a wonderful time. But other people had like really profound experiences on it, and it said that they hadn't felt depressed for a month, whereas they'd been depressed for 20 years before that. And
Yeah.
it's something we need to look into, guys, because nature's got a cure for everything, I believe.
Except for, being a dick.
That's an easy
There's no
cure for
cure for
that.
asshole. Well, just stop, right?
Just stop. Yeah. Take a look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was kind of I know that was a rabbit hole of our own. I wouldn't say that like drug treatment for chronic health and mental health issues is so much a conspiracy, but people just seem to
No.
have a problem with it, right? Like,
Well, I
for
think a
whatever reason.
conspiracy was created around it with the whole Nixon thing. It was him that
Oh, right.
created
Yeah.
it, the whole war on drugs, which
Yes.
ultimately has failed and will never work.
Right. No, the war
Um,
on drugs actually did far more harm than
mhm,
good than
that's it.
drugs actually cause,
Yeah, exactly.
Same with like No Child Left Behind and, tough on crime. But it's all political bullshit because no one's going to win
Mhm,
an election saying I'm going to be soft on crime, right? Like, so it's
yeah,
just like they don't consider the actual implications of some of the things that they, say. They just know it's what
no.
the masses want to hear, right?
Mm.
Because again, no one's going to be like, you know what, sex trafficking of kids isn't that big of a deal. So like, calm down.
Yeah, we don't mind that. It's fine. Um, yeah, it's because in Portugal they've decriminalized all drugs now.
All of them,
Yeah, and created like
like
centers for like heroin addicts to go and safely do heroin and things like
or
that. And
needles, have their drugs tested. Yeah, I think that's all
yeah,
really important. And like, I think the thing that people forget or automatically assume, like you can go get some needles and have your drugs tested. Oh, great. Well, let's just make it so easy for them to use drugs. No, they also actually have people there to provide resources and information for people who maybe do want to get clean and sober,
hmm
medical care, really kind of to help. It's not just like it's with Planned Parenthood. People are like, oh, just it's you go get your abortions there. No, actually, it has family planning and other services to actually limit the possibility of needing an abortion too.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Fucking idiots.
exactly. Any other ones?
Conspiracy theory is that the government is spying on you. With the advances in technology, the government is using its vast resources to track citizens. Now, the truth is, in 2016, government agencies sent 49,868 requests for user data to Facebook, 27,000 to Google, and 9,000 to Apple, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF. A major non-profit organisation that defends civil liberties in the digital world and advises the public on matters of internet privacy. You've probably also heard that your computer camera could be used to spy on you. Now, this is something I know about from my line of work because we often
Mm-hmm.
do, like,
You spy on people with their webcams?
no, no,
You
we
heard
have
it
to
here
learn,
first,
like,
folks.
what do you think I do all night? I'm watching you.
Aw.
I just like it. I feel close. Um, But no, like obviously we do training on like cybersecurity and what hackers can do, and
Mhm.
man, they are terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
so for example, they could hack into your phone, your iPhone,
Mhm.
and say it's on the side of your coffee table and you've got some bank documents, something like that. They can take a 3D image of your room and put together and read any documentation you've got lying around with all like your, personal information,
Yeah.
social security,
Mhm.
bank details, things like that.
Well, and I do love leaving those just out in the open.
Yeah, who doesn't? Sure, I'm just lying around in my house.
Yeah, and I put my phone right next to it all the time.
Mm.
Yeah, well, just like you said, like there's advances in technology that are really great, but also can be used for bad
Terrifying.
things, right? But I do want to just the thing about the US government anyways, it there's this thing called the Patriot Act, and basically it says that the FBI can basically secretly and without warrant conduct a wiretap or search of
Mhm.
any American citizen however they want
Wow.
without probable cause. And our Constitution actually like says that you have to have a no unlawful search and seizure. You have to have a warrant, probable cause. But actually, like we can just make laws that say nope.
You could just
Actually,
override it. It's fine.
under exceptional circumstances, which we're going to also describe as literally anything we want it to be. And then, it's up to, states or people to basically say that's not constitutional. And then depending on what the Supreme Court looks like at the time, they're going to be like, nah, it's fine. So, I mean,
Eh.
we have laws that basically say that they're allowed to do this. This should not be a surprise to
Mm.
anybody.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I mean, I've had weird things where like I've been on my laptop and then I've seen my webcam come on, the little light come on,
Ugh.
and I'm like, what the fuck's happening? Like, shut it.
Do you have like a little flap on yours? We have
I do,
my
yeah.
work one at least has a little like
Yeah,
slide
same.
cover. So sometimes I'll
Hmm.
just in case, I'll just close it.
Yeah, you should. Because it could just be a
Yeah.
perf trying to check you out.
Well, I'm less concerned about my work laptop, my personal one, which arguably has less security on it. The one
Don't
I'm
say that.
talking to you on right now. I mean, it has plenty. It's very
You
secure.
never know who could be
But the
listening.
little light's on right now. Oh my god. So,
Oh,
oh, it's just us.
it's
Okay, never
because
mind.
we're on webcam.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think just kind of assuming that it's probably happening at all times and just whether you care or not or accept that risk or can at least take some modicum of like safety measures to like don't keep all your personal documents out in the open,
Yeah, don't
whatever.
open dodgy looking links on emails. If there's spelling mistakes in emails, don't click on them. Like, it's crazy how many people do that.
Mhm.
Genuinely. Even we've had, things happen at work where I'm
Mhm.
like, you work in investigation. How are you not
They
looking at that
spelled
email? And
your name wrong. They spelled their name wrong. It said,
it's mad.
am ozone. Yeah, we have to do trainings for that at work, and they also will send us little test ones to see if we fall for it.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Cheeky buggers. What do you want to do at Am I the Asshole?
You know you, baby. You know I do.
Am I the asshole for admitting in front of all of my husband's friends,
Oh.
that I've never had an
Mm,
orgasm? Juicy. Okay, what accent should
okay,
I do for this
let's
one?
do it.
I'm gonna do a southern accent. Okay.
Perfect.
Recently was my husband's friend's birthday party, and it was a bigger party, and all my I can't do it.
You start just skewing to straight American, which is
Yeah.
fine. Do Can you do like maybe Irish? Can you think you can hold an Irish accent?
Oh, I'll say okay. Irish, right? Okay, 30 So recently, it was my husband's friend's birthday party. It was a bigger party, and all my husband's friends and their wives were there. No kids. One woman that I'm friendly with was annoyed with her husband and joked, "Men, if they didn't get us off, why would we keep him?" And she laughed. I awkwardly laughed, but I guess I looked uncomfortable. And she asked me what was up. And she pointed out that I made a weird face. I said, "I've never had an orgasm before, so I guess I couldn't relate." Almost a dozen people looked at me, and when I said that, it was super awkward. The wife then awkwardly asked, "Is everything okay down there?" And I said, "Yeah, I've
Whoa.
just never had anyone try, I guess." For the next 10 minutes, all of my husband's friends took turns insulting him in various ways. Many women talked about how they'd never be married to someone who couldn't get the job done. My husband made us leave early, and when he got home, he lectured me about how I humiliated him. I pointed out
Mhm.
that she had asked, and I have a tendency to be honest. He's been really upset over the last couple of days, and he keeps trying to say that we can't talk to his friends now because they think badly of him. Am I the arsehole for being honest here?
Okay, nice job, first of all. I actually thought that was really perfect because that feels like a conversation that two Irish lasses would have.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Um, not the asshole.
I've got an
She'd be an
edit.
asshole.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She also goes on to say, I've brought up the issue on countless times in the past, and he tells me it's not important slash not a big deal that he doesn't get me off. Since it's not that important, I don't see why I have to hide it like I'm some kind of dirty secret.
Fuck that guy. Now,
Mhm.
um, I was going to say it would be probably more assholey behavior if she did it with the intention to humiliate, shame, embarrass him in front of people, right?
Yeah.
Like if they were having a fight and she's like, "Well, you've never made me come, so fuck you," right? But
Mhm.
she couldn't like fake that because she also can't
No.
fake an orgasm, I guess. But when that woman made the comment, she couldn't be like, "Oh yeah, totally."
Yeah.
And
Oh,
poor
I love
her
it.
because I feel like if she knew like how to address this in a way that was like, well, she's trying. If her husband knew how to respond in a way that was, sensitive and caring, and actually like it seemed to, you know, prioritize her in some way, then you know maybe she would have been a little more discreet about it. But as she,
Mm.
like she said, he said it wasn't a big deal. So I guess I just thought it wasn't a big deal.
I mean, what I would say to the husband is, well, if it's not a big deal, then every time we have sex, I'll just stop just before you come, mate.
Yeah. Whether or not you do, when I'm ready
Mm.
to be done, I'm
Yeah, I
just going
don't
to be
really
done.
care. Yeah, I'm just going to stop because what I'd say to her is there are plenty of help you can get. There's toys. There's, um, you know, sex therapists that you could talk to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, your husband sounds like a douchebag because
This makes me sad
everybody
for her.
should
Yeah.
enjoy sexual activity. Yeah, I can sort of see why he's pissed off because he's probably embarrassed, but that's his fucking fault
Well,
for
the
not
fact that his
trying.
well, yeah, and the fact that his friends are making fun of him, I think should make him feel like, "Oh, maybe I should actually care about this," you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, everyone else
I
is
get
doing it.
well, and the fact that I haven't is like a me problem rather than a her problem. How did are ages on that? Like, does it say I, whatever, female?
No.
I should I'm sad for her because of the nature of the relationship too, among also the fact that that's not an experience she's ever had. But if she's older too, like there could actually be some sort of medical issue going on.
Yeah. Or she's just had very poor lovers.
That too. I mean, we're making some assumptions here, but let's just say she's, in her 20s, whatever, and he's like the only person she's been with, right?
Mhm.
Then maybe he's just really bad and doesn't
Yeah.
care, and she's not unfortunately had the opportunity to, like, kind of experiment, I guess.
Mhm. And also, the female orgasm's a lot more complicated than the male orgasm. Like,
Yeah.
men see and get turned on, whereas we often need to feel secure,
Mhm.
able to be vulnerable, safe,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it takes a lot more.
Gotta
Um,
prime that pump a little more.
exactly, you got to warm up that oven before you stick in the turkey, guys.
Mhm. Yep. What other euphemisms can we talk about? I'm sure there's
There's
lots.
loads of other ways to go about it and to build up the whole experience as, um, you know, a turn onable event. Some women just have
Mhm.
sex because they feel like they should, but
Right.
it shouldn't be like that. Everyone needs to enjoy what they're doing.
Sounds like he doesn't give a fuck. So,
Yeah.
to the extent that they have, the frequency in which they have intercourse, my guess is he doesn't really worry about where she's
Nope.
at the time, and like how much effort he needs to put into, really butter her bread, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And fun fact for you that 80% of women cannot orgasm from penetrative sex. So, guys, you really
Hmm.
need to be focusing on the foreplay. It's the best bit for women. So, just saying.
Yep. And it's like we're our vaginas are delicate little
Flowers.
flowers that have lots of different, nerve
Mm,
endings in different spots, and it's not just a hole, it's other things.
that's it. I think it's like 8,000 nerve endings on the outer areas of our flower.
Hmm.
So, just pay that a bit of attention and
And
you'll.
that's just the start.
That's just a start, baby. There's loads of resources online. Don't look at porn, though. Not a very good.
Mm-mm.
It's not realistic, guys, for the younger
Unless it's
generation.
specifically designed to be focused on the woman, then
Yeah,
maybe.
and be educational.
Yep.
Mm.
Well, not the asshole. He's kind of the asshole. The fact that after that shaming, he has not been like genuinely like trying to have a conversation about it and just shuts it down and is like, can't see my mates anymore. It, dude, I don't want to say leave him because I feel like I've done that in a lot, but like that just sounds like a really unsatisfying relationship that your
Yeah,
partner really doesn't have any desire to make better.
exactly. Fuck that. Get out.
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
Well, on that note,
from conspiracy theories to the female orgasm, we really ran the gamut there.
we really cover every subject on this podcast. And if you'd like to get involved, please email us at talkshittous@gmail.com.
I've been toying with the idea in my head and not discussing with you yet, but like at some point, I would even love to have like people call in or leave a message that we play and talk about. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm up for that. So if that's something you might be interested in doing, hit us up because we could try to, we can give it a go.
Yeah, send us a voice note on like Instagram, which is
Anything, literally
or
anything.
anything. Literally anything. I mean, you don't have my personal number, and I'm not going to give that out. But yeah, get in touch and send us questions, stories that we can play, and you can get involved in the podcast.
Yeah, and I guess if you really want to tell us maybe we got something wrong, fine.
Fine.
We can take feedback, but also we need you to be nice about it because otherwise we're just going to be like, you're like really mean. And I don't want to hear it. You're so mean. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your
And
roast dinner,
thank you.
and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have
Well,
fun.
until next time.
Until next
Okay.
time.
Bye.